magyarul nem beszélünk, jó?
Máma nem, én is elfelejtettem sokat.
No, good. Okay, so Alex, thank you so much for being here, for accepting to have this little conversation about the current situation, the COVID situation around the world, and how it impacted our traveling. So you've been in Vietnam for how many years now?
So it has been already, well, more than 4 years, about 4 years and 4 months.
How come you ended up in Vietnam? I know you've been traveling around Asia for quite some time now.
Well, let's say that after I finished university and after I finished the master's degree, I had no idea what I want to do in life. And then, just like a regular, normal person, I would get a job, get money, go home. But then, I don't know, I don't really like my job. I have the money, but I don't feel happy. So I'm like, what's wrong with me? So then I started to travel. For the first time, I've been to Belgium, about 6 months. It was a 6-month internship. Then I went to the USA actually twice, 2008 and 2012. Then I also traveled to Scotland, pretty close to England. But again, I had so many different jobs. But every time after about 6 months, I was asking the same question. Why am I doing this? Is it because of the money or because I like it? And usually the answer would be for the money. And then I wanted a change. And I started to ask questions like, what do I like to do? Or what could I do for money, but at the same time, I would be happy as well. And then teaching emerged as an opportunity. And this is how I kind of started my journey in teaching. For the first time, it was in India in 2015, where I taught for 6 months. Well, honestly, I was given the opportunity to come up with different topics in the classroom. So I was not given a curriculum. I had the freedom to make my own lesson plans. So it would be on attitude, time management, ambition, perseverance. So all these soft skills that are missing in the education system all around the world, I was given the opportunity to teach these kind of things. But at the same time, I didn't know much about the topics either, but it was a good experience because I learned how to teach, and at the same time I learned what's missing and how I could help children, kids at school to just become better citizens and have a purpose in their life and some goals. I came to Vietnam, and it's for the first time when I had a job for more than 6 months. Now it's already 4 years and 4 months, and I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. So teaching is definitely one of my passions.
Would you say that education, teaching, it's one of the easiest way to get a job over there, teaching English, or did you explore some other opportunities as well?
From my personal experience, I have met many people that are teaching as well, and they said that teaching is probably the easiest job a foreigner or a native speaker could find. It could be either in Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and a few other countries around. I think I met a few web developers that are freelancers, but not that many. So most probably from my experience, teaching would be an accessible job for many people.
But as far as I know, when it comes to teaching, at least English, I'm pretty sure they are demanding like native speakers, English, Australians, US, and so on. Was it difficult for you to stand out before your competitors in this sense? Or?
That's a good question. Actually, this was one of my fears because I'm not a native speaker. I could not have a fair chance to get a job. but I was very confident in my skills of teaching. I realized that I can easily convey a message to people, especially to teenagers, and I'm quite skillful and good at this. So having this thought in mind, I just took my, how to say, I got some courage, and then I came to Vietnam. Although probably 80% of people who are teaching are native speakers from all these countries like USA, Canada, South Africa, and so on. But there are a few foreigners as well that are just passionate about teaching, and they tried their luck as well. And apparently the teachers and the kids really appreciate the way we interact with them rather than the country we come from.
Mm-hmm. Well, your English is really, really good. And as you said, uh, before being a native speaker or not, most important is the abilities that you have, the interpersonal skills that you have, how you're managing to interact with those kids, with the people around you, and make them like what they learn. I think this is way more important than the level of English or language that you have, which is pretty much close to a native one.
I have learned a lot of English since I came over here because I like to read. I could say that almost every day I would learn new words. I would have my vocabulary would improve a lot. And at the same time, because I talk to many people, I learn many ways of interaction. So yeah, so probably one of the reasons why my English got better is because I also have to be prepared in the classroom. So I could not go in a class just talking about something without being prepared.
Mm-hmm. So let's say I'm a native speaker or my English level is quite good and I want to get a job in Vietnam. Uh, what would be the first steps that I would have to do in order to find a job?
Well, probably some research on the internet. From what I know, there are many Facebook groups where people post different jobs, but a quick Google search would kind of give you an overview. Um, what kind of companies are hiring people? What are their demands? What would be the wage, the monthly wage, and so on. But generally speaking, because nowadays we live in an era where information is pretty easy to access, so you can pretty much find everything, either from the websites of the schools that hire teachers or from people that have previous job experience over here.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I can easily go online, find an online job, and apply with my CV, and they would contact me.
Most of the time, yes. Probably some companies would ask for a diploma or certificate about TOEFL, TESOL to see that you have some theoretical and practical knowledge as well about teaching. But I guess it depends from company to company.
Mm-hmm. When you mention company, are we speaking about like schools, kindergartens, or can you explain a little bit this?
So, for example, in my case, most companies are like independent, and some of them have contracts with public schools or other entities, and some of them have their own classes, their own buildings where students come after school and learn. Or in my case, I'm hired by a company that has a contract with the public school. So basically, I teach at the public school, but I'm not paid by the public school.
Mm-hmm. So are we speaking about 18 plus as in students or below?
Probably the most demanded would be the young children, followed by teenagers, and then there are people who are having a job, but they would like to improve their English so they can get a better job or probably travel outside of Vietnam and maybe
Mm-hmm.
even move outside of Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. And how was the education affected by COVID-19? I mean, no one really expected this to happen. And we're not speaking just about education, but businesses as well. They were affected in one way or another. At least in Romania, everything moved online. Like I think around the end of February, we had like a lockdown, so we weren't able to move outside of the cities without giving a personal declaration, and the teaching moved online. This was a challenge as well. I'm looking only to my relatives who have small kids. They were not used to use that sort of technology. Zoom suddenly came really well known in Romania as well. People try to learn how to use properly a laptop, a tablet, and further on in order to continue teaching. How did this affect the educational system in Vietnam and your experience as well?
Wow, there are quite a few questions over there in one question, but I'll try to make a few points. So I guess for the kids and teenagers, well, according to my knowledge again and experience, since they pretty much love the holiday time, they're quite happy. But yes, of course, there were some courses online they had to attend, but it was not that, like, the schedule was not that tight, so they had also time to relax and to invest in themselves.
Mhm.
Whereas for the teachers or everybody else, it was a challenge, especially for the people who didn't have savings. They kind of struggled a bit. But I guess Vietnam, compared to other countries in West USA and so on, because the economy opened pretty soon, like about 1 month ago. Everybody's back on a track and everything is better.
Mhm.
What else?
So at the moment, basically you do the gatherings in the public schools or whatever you're teaching, and you continue
Yeah,
your
so now
activities normally.
everything is closed. Very few people still wear masks, but most people are already just relaxed because they kind of see that nothing really dangerous happened. So it was like a crisis. It came, it went, and now it's everything back to normal, or a new normal, you could say.
Mhm. So during the lockdown, when the COVID-19 came in, everyone had, let's say, a small holiday in schools.
Yeah, kind of. So, I mean, from what I know, I didn't go to school for about 3 months and a half. Well, there was a short holiday period as well, but yeah, so the schools were kind of closed for 3 months all
Hmm.
over Vietnam.
Hmm. And beside the schools and the educational system, what else was affected? What other businesses?
According to my knowledge, pretty much everything else. The only thing that was opened were like well, not really the restaurants, were just like some fast food shops, and there were some food shops, but you could only take home food, so you couldn't stay and dine in. And pretty much everything else was closed, probably except
Hmm.
constructions. People would still work outside, and the food shops would be open to be able to take food home. But besides that, everything else was closed. And also at the same time, people who used to like work in the service area, people would work online. As you said, they would start learning how to use Zoom and the laptop and tablets and so on.
Alex, thank you so much for taking your time and talking me about your experience in Vietnam, offering us tips and tricks, and how to get yourself a job within education. Hopefully, we'll be able to meet again. I really hope to get back in Vietnam and explore it because I did enjoy it. But otherwise, once you get back home in Romania, for sure, hit me up, and it would be a pleasure to catch up once again.
Thank you for having me, Adi. It's the first time, I guess, I'm having an interview, but it felt really good to have you and see you after such a long period of time.